Hey everybody, Jesse Reed here with Jump Entertainment. I'm here during Indie Week and I'm here with Angela Saini. How's everything going, Angela?
Really good. Thanks for having me. Nice to see you.
Yeah, you as well. For anybody who hasn't been following Jump On for the start, you're actually one of the first artists that I ever interviewed after moving to Toronto. So when I saw your name up here on the Indie Week list, I was so excited to see how things are going now. How's 2021 treating you?
That's amazing. I first of all did not know that, so that's just super cool. So nice to talk to you again. So that's amazing. I love that story. I'm really good. 2021 is almost done. And it's been less challenging than 2020. So, we were just talking about, we're on our way out of like a crazy time in the world. So I do love the streaming thing. A lot of people going online. 2020, I did a lot of that, lots of live shows and keeping in touch with, my audience and people that want to know what I'm doing. So I really loved that. I do like playing some live shows. So I've been playing live and lots of new music on the way, lots of demos, lots of recording here in my home studio. So like on the up and up, I'm doing really great. Thanks for asking.
That's awesome. Yeah, when I interviewed you for the first time, it was at the HMV back when that was still we had the giant one in Toronto.
Yes, I remember. I didn't know that was you had just moved to Toronto. I think I forgot that tidbit. That's amazing.
God. So long ago at this point. There's been a lot of artists that I talked to at the time that are not still going strong like you are, so it's beautiful to see that things are still going. You mentioned you just had a few live shows, which must be such an amazing feeling after all of this. Can you tell us about that experience?
Yes. So my last show, I'll start with, because it's a bit of a bookend story. So my last show in 2020 was March the 11th at the Moonshine Cafe, which is an amazing, very listening room, intimate listening room, and that it's in Oakville. And I was just on my way to the Junos the next day. And I remember, we all know this story about the pandemic, so I don't need to go long on this, but it was really kind of tension. And I was about to get on an airplane to go to the Junos. And it was but it was an amazing night. I sold out of merch. It was packed. Everyone was in a celebratory mood. We were all we're not afraid. Everyone, it was just a great evening, packed. I couldn't even find a seat after I finished playing. So it was amazing.
It's a good fun to have.
Yeah, exactly. It's I guess I'll just stand at the bar. That's cool. And then, of course, the next day, Junos were canceled. I ended up being not trapped, but I was on tour. I had a bunch of shows in Alberta right after the Junos, so all my shows got canceled, et cetera, et cetera. We all know what happened. I don't need to tell you that story. And my first show back, which was in August of this year. So I didn't really play any live shows in 2020. I know some people did some outdoor stuff and what have you. I did have some driveway shows that ended up being canceled because of we had to do some lockdowns again at the time. But my first show back was at the Moonshine again. So it was this bookended, this is where it started and this is where it's ended, in my mind. It was actually, Jesse, it was really emotional. I almost wanted to cry, just the feeling of oh my gosh, this is what it's like to sing in front of actual people. And I've done a lot of live streaming. I'm no stranger to the in-house setup and screen to screen, but having the feedback of the audience and the energy in the room, it was so emotional. And I've talked to other artists that feel the same way. Their first show back, they really you really appreciate, and not that we forgot, but you really appreciate, oh my gosh, this is what it's like to have a live audience. Because I do think, I'm a performer first. I really, my live show depends on that audience. It does and it doesn't. Obviously I can perform in front of a screen, right? But I do feel like a live performance is an exchange of energy, it's the energy from the artist coming out, and then the energy from the audience coming back. It's this beautiful circle. And so feeling that again was just amazing. And it's such a great venue. If you've never been there, the Moonshine Cafe is just such a great listening room. You can hear a pin drop, it's just such a great room for the nature of what I do. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
Yeah, that's one thing I really think a lot of artists took advantage. You know, that exchange of energy between when you're playing a song and you can just have that immediate feedback of the crowd's giving that back, which in turn affects the way that you play the songs and all that, which we didn't really get through live stream, right? It was beautiful that everything kept going, but that, yeah, can you just talk about that feeling a little bit? It's something that I know is a hard thing to describe, but it's something that artists know very well and have realized.
Yeah. You know, for me too, and this ties into what you're talking about, it's also like for a songwriter, when you play a new song live, that feedback, and I can't even describe the feedback, because it's not like people either clap or don't clap, because I mean, to be honest, I've never played a song and then people, you know, didn't clap at the end. I mean, everyone's very kind. But when you play a new song live, like there's something even in the performance of it, showcasing it to other people that helps me know if like the song's, you know, has some wings, you know? And so it was really hard when you play in front of a screen to be like, to really get the feedback from the audience. Is it hitting the listener the way I wanted them to hear it? So that's another thing. I played a bunch, you know, I've been playing new material, new songs, like trying stuff out. And for me, that audience, and it's hard to describe because no one's like, oh, I love that song. You know, like no one gives you direct feedback on like, say, a song choice, but you can feel it. You can tell whether it hit them or not, or if like there's something like, oh, maybe that bridge didn't really work, or like whatever. So that's something that a lot of artists don't realize, that they are getting that feedback from the audience. And also like back to, you know, what you're talking about with that exchange of energy. I mean, there's live music. I think it goes back to sound, right? The sound of the human voice, for example. You're hearing my human voice right now, but if we were in the same room, the vibration of my voice like hits you a different way than it does through a screen. And that's with music, you know, guitar, whatever instrument. Music has its own, you know, sonic vibration that we really, you know, we receive as the listener. So, you know, you're talking about you're going to a show tonight, like you can't compare a show that you see live where you're feeling the whole vibration of what's happening compared to, you know, seeing a video. Which is still great. Thank goodness we have video, but it's not the same, right?
Absolutely. That's a beautiful way of putting that. And I know we've only got a few minutes left here. We're doing a short Indie Week interview. So
I know, short and sweet.
Yeah, I want to get to what's coming up next for Angela Saini. What can fans expect from you next and the rest of the year in 2022? Great
question. So I've been working on a bunch of new material. I didn't release anything during the pandemic at all. And I think that's great. That's fine. I'm I play a lot of live shows. Touring is an important part of like my promotional strategy, I suppose. So I'm glad to be sitting on like some new music, and we're going to be hitting the studio hopefully next month. I've got a bunch in a row. I'm going to do a few singles. The first one is called In It for the Ride, which is the perfect kind of lyrical content and theme after everything we've sort of gone through, because it's a really, of course, uplifting and empowering song. That's kind of the nature of like what I do. And I'm more focused on that now more than ever. You know, I've really like empowering themes about courage and finding joy in surprising places. You know, that's really what interests me when I make music. So this next upcoming single is up-tempo and totally, you know, gives that the vibe of, you know, we're in it for the ride no matter what. And that's you know, the joy of life. You can't pick and choose every twist and turn, but you got to make those twists and turns. So that's kind of the fun of it.
Beautiful. Okay, so I see. Yeah, we're getting moved on pretty soon here, but
I'm gonna be booted out of here in no time. Yeah.
on to your next interview, which I'm sure will be awesome. You can keep the story going. But yeah, you got any last words for our listeners here who are watching?
Oh no, it's nice to chat with you. Nice to see you again. Nice to see everybody here virtually. Feel free, you know, check me out anywhere where you find music, and my website, Angela Saini. That's SAINI. Great to see you. Come find me online and say hi. Nice to see you. Thanks for the great interview.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Angela. Hope you have a great rest of your indie week.
I will. Thank you. You too.